Hey there, sixth graders. In this video here today, we're going to go through what it is that you are working on in your class period while I'm not there, as well as go through our next slide of notes, which is the beginning of the second half of the unit. So there are a couple of things we're going to need to do. Let's first go to Google Classroom, and you should see a separate post for class notes plate boundaries, and go ahead and open up the doc. If you need to pause this video to do so, go ahead and do that now. All right. So here, man, I'm really glitchy and slow. There we go. All right. So here is what the new notes document looks like. And it looks different than any of the notes we've done before. And you are right. That's because we're going to start going through and I'm going to start teaching you how to do some of these organizational strategies when taking notes and how to actually do it while we're typing it. So we're going to stick with this bulleted outline. That's what we did for the first half of the unit here, except I had it all formatted for you and you were just typing in the blanks. Now you are going to type in all of the bullets and sub-bullets, and even if there are like sub-bullets. And I'll teach you how to do that if you don't know how to do it here in a moment, okay? What's on your document are the headings for all of the slides. So as we go to new slides, the headings will be there on the slide of my slide deck, and the heading here on your paper will match that. Today we're just going to do types of plate boundaries, the first one there. So the very first thing I would like you to do is to get your cursor, and if you'll notice you can get it. Oop, yeah, there we go. And you hit return or enter for you guys. Okay, so I put it at the end of the heading and then I hit enter to get it here. And then there's a number of ways you can start a bulleted list. Shortcut is Shift 8. That gets you that little asterisk, and then when you hit a space bar, it turns into a bullet. Or you can go up to your toolbar, and they have right here, bulleted list, and you can click that. Okay. All right, real quick, let me just show you something here so that I don't have to keep jumping back and forth. But as you type in a main bullet, oops, I have caps lock. Sorry. Right. Okay. Then when you hit your enter, your return button, it's going to make another main bullet, which is great. But what if there's a sub bullet? And why do we use sub bullets? Because the sub bullet is going to be a supporting detail to that main bullet ahead. So let's do a sub bullet here. With some information that supports what's above. Oops, I didn't tell you how to do it though. Sorry. So when you hit enter or return, it gives you that main bullet. Then you just hit the tab button before you start typing. Hit the tab button. And look at that. Voila, you get a sub bullet. And then you can type in a supporting detail. Okay? And then when you hit enter return again, it's going to give you another sub bullet. What if I don't want a sub bullet anymore? What am I going to do? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. One is if you hit enter again, it should take you back. Another way to do it is if you do shift tab, it should take you back to a main bullet. So those are the two different ways, whichever works for you. Sometimes when you hit enter twice, it doesn't always work. It just keeps giving you sub bullets, just kind of the formatting. It gets kind of like locked into the formatting. So sometimes that shift tab is just the easiest way to remember how to move a bullet back out of a sub bullet to a main bullet. Okay? All right. Let's get rid of all this nonsense. All right, and I will go over and let's go ahead and begin. All right, so you're going to type down this whole main bullet. So as we go through this, I'm going to talk. And since I'm not here in class, you have the ability to pause me Thankfully, you cannot do that in real life as I'm in class. So if I'm going too fast, just pause so that you can catch up to type. But I'm just going to kind of keep going through this so that the video does not need to be longer than it needs to be. So we are now shifting our focus to the types of plate boundaries. And we've already begun to do some of this work with your map activity, which we're going to work on after our notes today. So plate boundaries are the regions where there are two tectonic plates meeting. Two plates are meeting. Just like there are state boundaries, where the boundaries of two states meet. Two country, right? The boundaries of two countries. Any of those things. Time zones, right? So there are lots of things that you guys know of that have these boundaries. It's where the two places meet. You can even think about it as an athletic field, right? Like the boundary between the soccer field or pitch and the out of bounds, right? That would be the boundary. Out of bounds, that's it, out of the boundary, right? That's why they call it that. Okay. Sub-bullet. So again, hit return after you have your main bullet, and then hit tab. So hit enter or return, and then hit tab, and it should shift it over for you. All right, we're going to talk a lot about the effect of these plate boundaries. In fact, that's kind of the main objective of learning about these, is how they affect Earth's surface and what are some of the effects that they can cause to not only shape Earth's surface, but also impact human life that are living in those areas. So, plate boundaries are, on this planet, the area where most tectonic activity occurs. So we're talking about earthquakes, volcanoes. We're talking, those are geologic activities. We're talking about mountain building, trenches, ridges, all of these different things. Volcanic islands are a result of what's going on where these two tectonic plates meet, these plate boundaries. Okay, back to a main bullet. So you either hit enter twice and it'll take you back, or hit enter. It gives you a new sub-bullet, and then hit shift tab. All right, the main focus are these three boundaries. There are three types. Sub-bullets. So remember, you hit enter and then tab, or return and then tab. We have divergent, which we'll get into first, and we've kind of already started when we've talked about seafloor spreading, because seafloor spreading is an example of something that can occur at a divergent boundary. Convergent boundaries and transform boundaries. The main amount of time that we're going to be using is going to be during it's going to cover divergent and convergent, because the most is going on there. Transform, there's not a lot going on. Still can have dramatic effects, but just not as many options of what's going on. All right, hit enter twice, and that should get you back to a main bullet, or hit enter and then shift tab. All right, so what determines what type of boundary it is? Well, these plates are all moving relative to each other. Okay, they're moving relative to each other, which is why when you look at like the Pacific plate and you had to look at the arrows of the directions of the plate, you might say, well, wait, how can a single plate be moving in different directions? Isn't it just one piece of rock? Well, part of the reason for that is because they are moving relative to each other. So relative just means, instead of us saying, oh, it's moving, 8 degrees northeast, we just take a look at, well, what is it doing compared to the thing that it's right up against, right? What's happening at that boundary? And so those boundary types, divergent, convergent, transform, those are all based upon what's happening underneath in the mantle. We started talking about convection currents. We did the Rice Lab, right? And so those spinning convection currents are either going to pull plates closer together for convergent, pull them apart for divergent, or have them slide past each other for transform. So it's convergent, divergent, transform. All right? And it's all determined because of the convection currents and what they're doing to the plate, the direction that they're moving the plate relative to the other plates. Okay, so that got us through one slide of notes. let's go through and talk about what you should be working on for the remaining of class today by looking at your plate boundary doc. Yesterday, I went through and I showed you how to use this website for mountain building. You should finish part 2 today. Lots of kids, as they've been going through this, have had a question about number 12. Number 12 says, what do you think? This is a prediction question, okay? There is not an answer on your map. There's not an answer necessarily in the website. It's just based off of everything that we've been working on over the last 3 days. What do you think? So I'm grading you not on accuracy. That is a prediction and inference of why you think something has happened when it doesn't really match all the other evidence. This should not take you super long. There are like 9 mountain ranges to shade in. So this should not, you should be able to move past this, and you should be able to get to the next one, which is volcanoes. On the volcanoes website, it's simple. You're going to use orange colored pencils and this website here. And you scroll down. You might want to zoom in when you get to it here, but this is the map. All of these dots, okay, all of these dots are the earthquakes. No, sorry, volcanoes. This is volcanoes. So this should not take too long. Same deal. You're just plotting these. And if you're like, wait a minute, I have to make all these tiny little dots. Well, if you have a string of them like you have up here near Alaska at the top of the Pacific Ocean, just shade it in as a line, right? You don't have to do individual dots if you have a whole bunch of them like you'd have here down South America, right? Along the coastline of South America. Go ahead. You can just shade that as a line. You don't have to just do individual dots. All right. So the goal today is by the time class ends, you should be done with part 2, mountain building, and part 3, volcanoes. All right. And if you're not, you're still a little bit behind because I'm looking at tomorrow, Thursday, being the last day I give you class time to work on this. And so again, if you think that at the end of class, if you're not here and you're really far behind, like maybe you haven't even done the mountains yet and class is over, you're going to want to really consider coming into my advisory on Thursday, so that you can try to use some of that time to get caught up with your partner. All right. All right. Be good. Make sure you're listening, working together. Make sure you're staying on task and doing these things. I turned GoGuardian, the scene off, so you can get to all of your sites, but I am recording what you're doing on there. It's going to record a session of where you're going. So stay focused. Don't do other things on your computer. Use this time. You know what to do. You don't need me there. You need to be able to get this stuff done. And then I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.